Good morning, folks. Ann here. I'm over at the track, and it's raining. We're supposed to get rain just about all weekend. Sorry, I gotta do one step at a time. But, what was I saying? I lost it, folks. I forget what I was saying. Just trying to get down these steps. That's hard. But I gotta tell you, I gotta confess. Yesterday after my video, I said I was all gung-ho saying, don't think I'm not gonna go walking. And I gotta confess, I didn't go walking yesterday. I don't know what happened. It would look so cold outside. The wind was blowing. And I just didn't want to go out. And I didn't even want to get on my little walker either. As the day went on, I kept saying later, but by the time later came, I was tired. I didn't want to get on that walker. And I told one of my viewers, she happened to ask me, did you go walking today? And I told her, I said, nope. I said, you see what happens when I don't have you guys to hold me accountable? But I think I needed that rest. You know, because my legs do feel very good with those 2 days of not walking. They feel pretty good today. So anyway, I hope you all are doing well. I'm still getting those comments that I love. And subscribers, thank you very much, all of you. It brings tears to my eyes. I mean, you know me, folks. So anyway, you know, I wanted to talk today about some of the stresses that cause us to lose control on our diet, our low-carb diet. And you know, yesterday I did mention in my video about how the job and everything, look at the heaven, I don't want to stop because they got a game going on over there. I got a pretty good pace going on right now. Do you see that? But the job, I think stress is the number one thing that used to trigger me. You know, it was a way to calm down and numb myself. And we all know that doesn't help. That was what I was saying in yesterday's video. But, you know, you could be stressing out over things you don't even realize. I think just normal day-to-day living causes stress. And then if you have a family or a spouse, or, you know, you could get stress from the home. But, you know, sometimes you might feel less stress going to work because you have so much stress at home. I have to admit, there was a time when that was so with me. I wasn't comfortable in my own home. It wasn't for a long time, but thank God. But, you know, it was stressful. If you're not even comfortable in your own home. And, you know, and it doesn't always have to be that it's someone else causing the stress. You know, you might live in an environment that, you know, the neighborhood, or there's a lot of crime. You're afraid to go to bed at night. You hear all this bad stuff on the news. That news used to stress me out. I had to turn it off. I rarely watch it anymore. I can't do it. I can't watch the news. You know, I always like to keep up on things, what's happening with the world, but you listen to it for too long and you don't realize it, but you're getting stressed out over it. I mean, talking about wars and... I mean, I care. I do care. I'm not saying I don't care what happens, but I don't think I can change it. So we're getting stress from a lot of different places, folks. And I think that the best thing to do is to be ready for it. Be healthy. Be fit. Do your exercise. Be strong. Keep your mind sharp. And when the stress comes along, you'll be able to handle it. Just like I said yesterday, if I would have been able to keep that up, being in shape, I would have handled that job much better towards the end. Because the time that I was working out, I handled it better. And I was able to do it better. So, that's one thing that'll trigger you. You could be doing great. And if you have an argument on the phone, or one of the utility companies tell you you owe more than you do, and you're trying to explain the situation, I mean, you get off that phone and you're stressed. I know I was. And I probably still am. I'm not I'm not over it yet. I'm working on it. But all those things. And when we want to reach for food because we're upset, we have to have those healthy snacks available. That'll help us, feel better. We have to change the habit of what we reach for. Or have something else in mind. Go for a walk or something. Walking is the best stress reducer. And it doesn't cost anything. And I guarantee you'll go home. And that stressor, unless it's something, really major in your life. But the little things, they're not going to matter after you go for a walk. You might not even remember why you were stressed. But I think another trigger is being lonely, being bored. You could be lonely even if you're with somebody. If you're with somebody that, you kind of went your separate ways. You don't really connect as much anymore. You could be sitting in the same house and not even know each other exists. It happens, folks. And what do? To comfort ourselves, we eat. And that even makes you feel worse. If we could just have that power, to just get up and get out of the house, and even if it's to go shopping or something, just so you're not sitting there in that environment all day or all night long. Start having little outlets that relieves that loneliness. And even if you're alone and you live alone like me, to have different things to do. Now, I've had my share of loneliness, but those spells really come few and far between because I don't really know why that is, but like I said in one of my videos, I've always been an introvert, and introverts tend to like that quiet time, and I'm one of them. I would take that before, chaos. So, folks, I don't know if you notice it, but if you see me going like this, pulling my arm up like that, you know why I'm doing that? And now I'm doing the other side. Do you know why I'm doing that, folks? Because my pants are falling down. These pants that were tight, they're freaking falling down. Oh my God. Oh my God, God is good. I like that feeling. Oh my God. It doesn't take much to get me going, especially when I'm happy. And I'm happy. I'm happy for all of you folks. All of you. You're putting a light in my life. And I better stop because I'll be crying. I hope you know that you are, though. How many times was that? That was 2. What time is it? Oh my God! Wasn't that 2? It had to be 2 times. Well, compare the way I'm walking to when I first started. It's unbelievable. But, and then the boredom. Never mind loneliness, but if you're bored, and I get bored, and lately, it's not just the news I've been turning off, but I can't find a single show or movie that really interests me to kill a couple hours. That's why I'm always watching YouTube videos. I learn a lot. And if for those newcomers, watch Ken Berry. He'll teach you a lot. He's on YouTube. Sean Baker, Dr. Shafee, The No-Carb Life with Dave Mack. There's a lot of them out there that will motivate you and teach you. And that's what's been occupying my time. But when I was sick last year, I started dabbling with YouTube, making video, and I was learning because I was bored. I had to do something. I was going stir crazy. So I started learning how to edit and how to use Canva and how to record videos and things like that. I had a little channel going, and I still have it going, but I slowed down. It's an entirely different topic that I don't think any of you would be interested in. But it's about the Adirondacks. So, things like that. And you could start your own channel, like I always say, and learn. It takes time to learn. If I was to learn one little thing a day, in 30 days, I learned a lot. I didn't sit down and say, I got to learn this program, and I got to know it by tomorrow. I just played around with it every day. And I grew more and more interested with it. And I got a lot more to learn. And I enjoy doing it. So, and some of the programs, like my editing program, I use a Clipchamp. And I do pay a few dollars for that. But I ain't spending that money out in the bar for a little home entertainment. That's the way I look at it. And then you got the trigger of, seeing food, smelling food. Although my carvings are under control, but I couldn't tell you that if I walked past a pizza place that I wouldn't want some of that. I'm sure I would. And if I let myself think about it, I'd probably be going right in there and getting some. Just the smell. Or bakery shops. Now, I'd go for the pizza first, but bakery shops with bread and everything, yeah, I'd go for that too. So that could trigger you. I've had it in the past, honest to God, where somebody would say something that they were wanting. And I tell you, for the whole week ahead of me, I would think about that and be wanting it. Because somebody mentioned it a week ago. And I wasn't going to get it out of my head until I finally had some of it. The power of suggestion. That's real. It happens. I'm amazed by it. I tell the person, ever since you mentioned that, I've been wanting it. This is 3 times. 3 times around, and we're going for 4. And I'm walking fast enough, I could take you for the 4th round. So, watch out for those smells and, seeing the food too. Or even hearing about it. Yes, when we're off the carbs, it'll be easier. But during the time that you're on the carbs, watch out for those triggers, because they're going to be even worse when you're starting out. And then another one that still bothers me today is when I'm tired. And I don't know, but I've been having a few tired days. I haven't reached for food, but I reached for that Pepsi. Now I'm doing good on that unsweetened tea. That helps. It gives me a kick. But I have to tell you, there was one other day that I had a glass of Pepsi. And I think to myself, oh my God, I got to tell everybody I did this. And I debate whether I want to. But I want to be honest with you guys. Because, we slip up. We want what we want. And a craving doesn't have nothing to do with it. We want it. Like a Friday night will roll around. Everybody's having a cocktail. And you mean to tell me I can't have a Diet Pepsi? That's how my mind works. I'll be damned. But I have, but only once. Twice with the one that I told you about. The unsweetened tea is perfect. I like it. It helps me. It gives me the kick. But back to being fatigued. When you're tired, your willpower diminishes. You're not thinking right, first of all. You just want to relax. You want to do whatever you can to be comfortable. And first thing you want to do is reach for food. It's hard when you're tired and you don't get a good night's sleep. I gotta stop for a minute, folks. Just 1 minute. Hold on. Don't leave. I can't believe I'm on my 4th round. I think I better slow down a little. So folks, I hope you're all getting your rest. and you get out there getting your exercise. They do say that the diet is 80% of it, and the exercise is only 20. But if we're talking about needing to reduce stress, then the exercise is going to help you tremendously. That's reduce that stress, that cortisol that's in your gut. The cortisol tells your body to store that fat. We need cortisol. If we're in danger or something, we need it. But we don't need it coming and flooding our gut like it likes to. Our poor guts have suffered for all these years. It doesn't know whether it's coming or going. It's stuffed. The food, the fat, all stuffed in there. Did you ever see pictures of someone's gut, the x-rays, where it shows all the fat around all the organs? It's horrifying. You can find that on YouTube. That's what some of us have. I know I do. Still, but my body is saying, thank you, Ann. Thank you. I could breathe. My gut is happy. It doesn't want to go back. It's telling me how happy it is. I'm getting rid of those flutters. My heart flutters at night. I don't feel them as much. I think I do every now and then. And then another trigger, of course, is the social aspect of it. So we all have family and friends that are living the normal life, standard American diet. I have to switch hands, not because my arm is tired, but because this side of my pants is falling down. Sure, I hope nobody's looking at me. But no, I'm holding it up. What a good feeling, folks. And I know a lot of you already are experiencing that. But those that are just getting started, it is a good feeling when your pants start falling down. So, at the beginning, it might be smart to stay away from some of those social events, at least until you get a grasp, and you have a little bit of time without the carbs. If you're just starting out going into, and I said this for years to people, going into a buffet is like putting drugs in front of a drug addict. And I felt that way. All that food in the buffet, like my Chinese buffet, I'd be salivating. It is. It triggers the emotions even before you put one bite in your mouth. You're excited, you're happy. But when you leave that restaurant, you're not. For all the reasons we always say. Okay. I'm gonna be climbing these bleachers right now in a few minutes. And I just wanted to touch on one more thing, and that is when we start diets and we go into over restriction. It's like a fad diet where we don't take it slow. And this has happened to me all my life. When we go and try to do it real quick and we over restrict ourselves, then we are gonna lose control and we're gonna overeat way too much. And it could be a long time before I get the motivation up to start it again. So then I'm finished. I'm finished for however long. It could be months before I could get back into it again. I mean, it's really dangerous. It really gets a grip on you. So doing a fad diet, so doing this quickly, I don't go for that. Some people can do it, but I couldn't. I had to go slow. I didn't want to. No, yeah, usually I could last 2 or 3 weeks, but then, that was the end of it. All I wanted to do was eat because I was trying to do it too fast and restricting my food. So let me get to the top of this. You guys can see if I'm still alive. And look at that. I'm taking one step at a time. I'm not going. No, I'm taking, do you see? I'm sorry, folks. I really am happy. But, normally I go one step at a time. And I started climbing this straight up. I'm noticing things like that. Like I said, going into stores and everything. Well, it's getting late on here, so let me get up here. And I want to wish you all well. And thank you for all those things I always say. And I'm supposed to come out here again tomorrow, so I will be out. Rain or shine. Thank you for everything, folks. I love you guys. Bye.